The 7 richest world leaders. When we hear the word billionaire, we immediately think about tech, finance, and retail entrepreneurs. But what we don't know is that some of the world leaders are a lot more powerful and wealthy than most royal families. These leaders don't just run the world, they have very deep pockets. In fact, most leaders are in power only because of their unending wealth, rather than a result of it. So, do you want to know more about the richest world leaders? Well, keep watching this video because the entry at number 1 is bound to shock you. Number 7. Donald Trump. Donald Trump has always been a businessman and a cranky celebrity too. He's appeared in quite a few TV shows and has always been involved in wrestling and beauty pageants. He was never into politics until a few years back when he decided to run for presidency. You might already know he had an overwhelming amount of wealth before he was president. He owns several hotels, resorts, and casinos in multiple cities. He's also a real estate tycoon, and his product licensing business is pretty stable too. According to Forbes, Donald Trump's worth has not increased for the past few years, which means it's exactly where it was a year back. Despite this, his net worth currently is $2.5 billion, and he's believed to be the richest US president of all time. Number 6. Mohammed bin Rashid Al-Makhtum. Despite belonging to a royal family, bin Rashid has been involved in politics and the development of Dubai. He's called the Amir of Dubai, which means the ruler or leader. You'd be surprised to know that every enterprise in Dubai belongs to Rashid, and he even owns the offices of the Prime Minister and President of UAE. He has decided to make Dubai the richest and greatest country in the world, and we wouldn't lie, he has been succeeding so far. His wealth is unbelievable, and his lifestyle is something right out of a fairy tale. His net worth is $14 billion, which is quite a lot for a leader. Although he's inherited most of his wealth, he's an astute businessman, and he's multiplied his billions by investing into multiple business ventures. Bin Rashid is one of the most successful businessmen in Dubai, so the type of wealth he has is totally justifiable. Number 5. Khalifa bin Zayed Al-Nashyan. He's a very prominent political figure in Abu Dhabi, and he is the king and president of the country. His own net worth is $15 billion, and he received all his wealth from his father. As he belongs to the royal family, his unbelievable amount of wealth is to be expected. He's also in charge of one of the biggest wealth funds in the world, so much so that he's even called the richest royal in the world. As the country is becoming richer with every passing day, the wealth of Khalifa is also increasing. He's the richest oil sheikh in the world, and he also controls $97.8 billion in oil barrels. Number 4. Jose Eduardo dos Santos. He was one of the richest people born in Africa. He served as Angolan's president for over 3 decades. When his rule started in Angola, he wasn't rich, but during his rule, he managed to acquire assets even during the Civil War. Impressive, eh? Well, it turns out he looted his country just so he could fill his own pockets with wealth. His case of corruption is one of the biggest cases in history, as he built a net worth of $20 billion by taking public money and putting it into his own accounts. He ruled the country for about 37 years, and during that time his daughter also became the richest woman in all of Africa before she was arrested for corruption. Though the family are now under charges of corruption, at one point in time, Jose was the richest world leader. Number 3. Bumibol Adjuladesh. One of the longest-standing world leaders, Bumibol was the king of Thailand, and he is one of the richest monarchs in history. His net worth was $30 billion at the time of his death. He stayed on the throne of Thailand from 1946 to 2016, and his net worth comes from a number of different sources. He owns large pieces of land in Thailand, and some of the most luxurious real estate also belong to him. He owned stakes in one of the biggest industries in the country and also owned 32% shares in Siam Cement. He had a 23% share in Siam Commercial Bank and a lot of other smaller shares in multiple companies, but most of his wealth was inherited from his family, including his real estate portfolio. Number 2. Mahathir Mohammed. Mahathir Mohammed was also a great world leader, and he was known for the political empire he built in Malaysia. He's the second richest leader in the world with a net worth of around $45 billion. Most people think that he was a corrupt leader only because of the type of wealth he had. But you should know that Mahathir had shares in more than 50 banks around the world, and you'd not be wrong to call him a wise businessman. The wealth of the Mahathir clan in total is a lot more than the combined GDP of about 100 countries. There have been several investigations into the origins of Mahathir and his family members during his time as a prime minister. However, it's been difficult to uncover any wrongdoing, partly because Mahathir has shares in so many industries that it makes it almost impossible to trace all of his wealth. For all we know, he certainly is one of the richest world leaders. Number 1. Vladimir Putin. Yes, you heard it right. The current president of Russia is the richest world leader of them all. His net worth is a whopping $200 billion, and a lot of people even say that he secretly is the richest man in the world. All his money is either invested in different industries or is stored in multiple banks, according to reports. Also, he's passed a new law in which he could now rule Russia till 2036, so his net worth is expected to increase over this time. You should also know that along with all the wealth he is a very powerful man and calls most of the shots around the world. Putin is also the richest Russian in the whole world and has been manipulating the laws of his country for quite a while, just to get away with having such an enormous amount of money. So which one of these leaders were you not expecting to see in this list? Tell us in the comments section. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to get the latest updates. We'll see you in the next video. Till then, adios from our side.